I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up! I made this little card with products from Stampin' Up! I sell the products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. This is our little mini beginner brochure, and in this brochure there are some products made for you to get started with stamping. And I decided to use primarily products from this little mini catalog. You can get these items for one price. I chose to design this project with a few different items, but most of them are from this beginner brochure. The products that you'll need for the card that I showed you are just these first 5 items. Then I put together a list of products that I think would do you very well to get a really excellent start on stamping supplies. And then I have 6 other stamp sets that I thought you might like. All of these have pictures and greetings, and they also just need the D block. So for this project I used the 4 Seasons Floral. The classic Stampin' Spots are in that mini brochure, but to be honest with you, I put together these Stampin' Spots from some that I already had. We also sell sets of 5 uninked Stampin' Spots, and that's what I used to make these. These 2 Stampin' Spots are what you get with this kit, and you can order those separately if you'd like. This set uses this set of stamping spots, and so those are these colors. 5 of those 8 Stampin' Spots are from the Brights collection. These 2 are from the Regals, and this is from the Neutrals selection. In our big annual catalog we have our color families, and so this cardstock is from the Brights collection. The Brights color family is not exactly the same as those Stampin' Spots, so you really do get quite a few of the same colors. So you may want to pick up this bright cardstock. I don't know, that's up to you. I'm also suggesting the Whisper White note cards and envelopes instead of the Flowers for Every Season's cards and more. These are very cute. You get Whisper White cardstock, you get these beautiful decorated envelopes, and these cards that you can use to make really simple, quick cards. So you could get these cards for when you're giving gifts, but you might also want to pick up some Whisper White note cards. Up to you. And you may or may not want to buy a Simply Chamois. This is for cleaning your stamps. You can just run the stamps under the sink if you'd like, but this is kind of nice to have available, so I have it out. Another thing that you might want to buy is the Stampin' Trimmer. It's a very nice paper cutter. And if you decide to get the cardstock, one of the things that you might want to do is go ahead and cut these up into card bases and layers. So let me show you what you do. For each one of these you're going to use the scoring blade. The scoring blade is the lighter color, and you're going to put this cardstock at 4 1/4 inches, and you're going to score and then turn it around this way and put it at 5 1/2 and cut. The darker blade is the cutting blade, and that gives you 2 card bases that fit in our medium-sized envelopes. The other thing you might want to do is cut this to 5 1/2. So this is basically cutting it in half and trimming off, cutting this actually down to 5 1/4 and 4 and 4 again. So this is 8 1/2. I'm going to cut it down to 4 1/4 and turn and cut these to 2 3/4. And these are very convenient pieces. I use these sizes of cardstock all the time, And you might want to save these strips as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut up all of this cardstock real quick. And very quickly you can give yourself all these card bases in layers. So that's enough to make 20 cards. And you can put it all in a wide stamp case so it'll be ready to go. But that's just extra. You will not need any of those for this particular card. For this card, all you need is the note card and the stamps and the ink. So I'm using the basic gray, and I've already put my flower stamp on this clear block, and I'm going to ink it up. If you're using a larger stamp pad, it's easier to bring the stamp to the stamp pad, but if your stamp is larger than your stamp pad, it's easier to bring the smaller to the larger. So I'm just going to stamp. Then you can easily clean the stamp on the Stampin' Chamois and remove that, put it back in its case, and put the greeting. This is a big block, and it really is easier to have blocks that fit your stamps. And eventually you may want to get some of the other sizes. Again, I'll clean my stamp and put that one away in its case. And now I'm going to use these blender pens. With these blender pens, you can color in any color ink that you have. You get 3 for not too much money. And so I'm going to use the Daffodil Delight and just put ink on this block. And I'm basically using this as a palette. So this blender pen doesn't have any color at all, but I'm going to pick up the ink color from the block, and I'm going to color in my flower. This particular flower is very easy to color. You do have to keep picking up the ink. And then to clean the blender pen, you just scribble it until no more color comes out. And I'm kind of rolling the pen back and forth. And now I'm going to use the Granny Apple Green, and I'm putting some ink on a different corner of that block, picking up some of that ink and coloring in with the same blender pen, coloring in green. And clean the green. And you can clean the block just like we did the stamps, or you can just run it under the sink. And that's all there is to it. A very cute card. I have stepped this card up a little bit. All I did is used an extra card or some Whisper White cardstock and cut a rectangle. I did give you the directions for stepping it up. The Whisper White is cut to 1 3/4 by 3. And you can do that with scissors or a straight blade or the Stampin' Trimmer if you have it. Stamp the flower on it just like we did. If I had planned ahead, I really would have stamped this Happy Birthday all the way over on the right, and I would have had room to move this flower down. But I kind of like it up there too. The Daffodil Delight piece is cut at 2 by 3 1/4, so you would cut down one of the smaller layers for that piece. I think you'll recognize the stamping of the flower. In this case, I only inked the flower and not the stem as much as possible, and just stamped all over, colored in all of those flowers for an overall background, and then stamped this flower on a piece of scrap, and in this case I put the Happy Birthday right next to the flower, and then I punched this out with a 2 1/4 circle punch. This ribbon is actually white ribbon. This is a beautiful ribbon. It comes crinkly, and I love buying white ribbon because you can color it any color you want. You'll need about 9 inches and your stamp pad, and you just drag your ink and then you do want to set it aside to dry. When it's dry, I do recommend that you want to rub off as much ink as you can. And then I just tied it a little bow. And I just made my bow smaller. And then trim the ends. And then we have, they call them glue dots. I like to call them snot dots. They're a little piece of gummy stickum. This is like when you get a magazine subscription. This is that glue that all those that they use a lot on magazine subscriptions. And then you just press it on. In fact, I could press this on here. So you can make these 3 cards very easily with minimal supplies. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free detailed directions and links for the products I used. Under Shop, you'll find products from Bev, frequent shopper points. If you click Products from Bev, you'll find out how to share my Evernote notebook, a completely searchable catalog of all the current products, and I have taggers. You can give a name to each one of those dies. I also have a cardstock sampler with all of the current Stampin' Up! Colors. And if you've purchased one in the past, I have an updater with all the brand new in colors. And if you're getting one now, I have a backdater so you can get last year's in colors. And I have a fine tip glue pen replacement tips. So if your glue pen tip gets clogged, just swap it out. I have heavy duty reclosable bags. There are some for the 6x6 papers and some for the 12x12 papers. And you can get a bow maker from my friend Gidget. Under Inspiration, you can scroll my projects. You can scroll through the basics. You'll learn what's special about Stampin' Up! Stamps. You can learn about our color families and all the wonderful products that come in the color families. Some ideas for coloring. There's information about cutting, including how I store my card bases and layers. If you're wondering about all of our new adhesives, there's all kinds of information about those and some of my favorite tools. Under Getting Organized, you'll find a link for my stamp case slips, product labels, large labels, case inserts, a lot of color tools, a practically free stamp pad storage solution, catalog tabs, a quick reference, and a wish list with a catalog index, basic toolkit to go, and a little compact desktop tool box. You can tour my craft space. Under color tools, you can make your own cardstock sampler with labels. Here, there's a DSP
And there's
divider.
a 1/4 sheet size DSP
I
sampler.
have lots of color charts. I have a sponge dauber case insert, color wheel, a color chart with autocorrect and RGB codes. Under Sit Together, if we ever get a chance to meet in home and craft together, you can find about my next classes, and you can find out how to join my team, where you can save money or make money. Almost all of those resources are free. More organization means more time for crafting. Talk to you soon. Bye.